The king is back on his kingdom is what it says.
And Pant is the danger. He's the game changer in the England team. If you ask,
you're saying Bumrah is the main threat without.
The task will be to keep that pressure on, not leak runs and let the pressure go off. Because
India, survive him, and I think that's where.
The much-awaited series down under kickstarts, ladies and gentlemen. It's the 5-match test series. The Border Gavaskar Trophy is on the way and it's ready to begin in a few days' time. Welcome to the show, Rohan. Welcome, Sandy Paji. The much-awaited one is ready. Doesn't matter if India are coming into this series from a whitewash against the Kiwis. Everything looks fresh. We start from scratch. I'll start with you, Paji. How much are you looking forward to this series down under? Because last 2 times India have visited this place, they've lifted the trophy, and you can see so many trophies out here. But if I want to be realistic, I just don't want to open this door because this is a pavilion door. I don't want the Indian players to come and go time and time again when they're batting. So what are your thoughts when it comes to India visiting Australian grounds, and this time especially because the conditions are different and a different captain?
Yeah, I think it's a massive challenge for India coming into this series. Had they beaten New Zealand, the pressure for the World Test Championship would have been off. They would have been confident, even if they won 1 or 2 games, even lost the series. That confidence of getting qualification through the World Test Series would have been there. But again, that was a devastating blow. The confidence must be low of India against a team that, on paper is nearly at full strength, bar Cameron Green. So I think it's a big, big uphill struggle for India coming up, but it's a chance for them to prove, that they are well deserving to get into that final of the World Test Championship.
Absolutely. Well deserving moving into the final of the World Test Championship. But Rohan, coming back to you, when it comes to the last 2 times India played BGT, 2-1 each was the victory result. Now we have shifted into a 5-match test series. Starting at WACA, we know what it brings to. We'll not look into much about it because that's what Virat Kohli said. You should have 5 grounds where you know how it will play. And that's what Australia produces. But what are your thoughts? 5-match test series starting with Perth, and then we move on to pink ball, then 3 red ball crickets. We are looking forward to that. But new captain Jasprit Bumrah will lead the first test. No Rohit Sharma once again. Massive challenge on his shoulders.
Yeah, the Aussies have set it up pretty well as per their plans. They got us at the bounciest pitch at the Optus Stadium in Perth, then the pink ball where it does all the things in the twilight period, and Gabba, of course, we don't know the bounce conditions. I think the first 3 tests are the fortress, you can say, for Australia. Absolutely. By the time Melbourne, Sydney comes, I think they want to kind of kill the series itself. I think that's what the Aussies have planned against us. But end of the day, it's all on paper. What happens on field is what dictates your strategies and stuff. So I think India, it's good for them that the last series they played, they got whitewashed. I think that makes sure they're a bit more underdogs, and all this pressure on them will be lesser, I feel. Forget the WTC and all that. I think just concentrate game at a time, take it session by session, because Australia, as Paji said, at home are a formidable team, but the only team that has really challenged them in the last 5-6 years, especially at home, has been India. So I think pretty much the same group has done it in the last couple of series here as well. But I think just that they've advanced a bit in age, and form is also a question mark. And again, I feel Australian tour is what makes you a man, and it separates the men from the boys, is what I feel. So I think a good test of character is what this tour will be, especially the younger ones in Jaiswal and Jurel, Washi, all these guys. I think it's time for them to step up, because the seniors are there, but you don't know till how long. It may be their last Australian tour as well. So I think these guys have to step up big time for these guys. As you said, Jassi again leading after I think that's the second test time he's leading before that COVID series that we had against one of in England. Yeah, I think so. I think being a lead bowler as well, I think that'll be a huge pressure on him. So again, as I said, as a collective group, everybody has to chip in their bits, or else it'll be a very long, tough 5-match series, man. You don't want to get into that rut.
Absolutely. It's a very long 5-match test series, as mentioned by Rohan. But Paji, we move on to the squad analysis and moving to squad of India with what is available at the moment. No Rohit Sharma, we know. No Shubman Gill as well, we know about it. So what about the top order? You have Abhimanyu Ishwaran, Yashasvi Jaiswal, and KL Rahul to pick your 2 openers. The thoughts, please, which are you going for?
This is the problem. You're going with your opening pair, and you don't know which ones will work. Maheshwaran has been very good in domestic level, but can he face a bowling attack of Australia? I just don't see it. KL Rahul's form's been absolutely awful as well. So we're really, really very struggling to get that one opening player. And no Shubman Gill either, no Rohit Sharma. I think it's going to be a very, very tall order. And I think this is where Australia have the pedigree. You know, their batsmen are in form. The opening pair can put that good partnership up. India, you don't know what you're going to get on this one. So
Absolutely.
I agree the challenge is there, but against this bowling lineup of Australia in Australian conditions, you know, we might see 46 all out challenged.
Okay, so that might be there. 36 all out once again, you're saying. But what are your thoughts? Paji mentioned about not getting clarity about the top three. Now, no Shubman Gill, no Rohit Sharma. So number one and number three spot is open for grabs. Abhimanyu Ishwaran was sent for the India A tour versus Australia. And the 4 innings he played, just scored 36 runs in 4 innings. And in the press conference, which Gautam Gambhir said, he said we have enough players in our squad. We have Abhimanyu Ishwaran, we have KL Rahul with the squad. So thoughts on that? Who is the most likely, according to you, alongside Yashasvi Jaiswal, Paji?
I really don't know. And again, this is the question you've just said is like, who could you put in that position? You say, okay, facing these bowlers in Australian conditions has to probably be KR Rahul that they will have to go for because of the experience. And that's the only differential thing. They probably would have been better getting Sai Sudarshan in or Gaikwad as the opening pair because we've seen a
But
lot
both of them have gone home. Both of
and they've
them
gone
have
home.
been sent back home. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think Gambier's got a lot on his plate, a lot of pressure on him now. He's not performed as you know, the coach as everybody wanted. Test match cricket is a completely different format to what you know, a T20 IPL is. They're different beasts. So I think India are going to be in some serious problems against this
Absolutely.
Australian team.
Okay, so the top three it needs to be looked into. But Rohan, in the Australian newspapers, in the Australian media, everywhere just has one name. The king is back on his kingdom, is what it says. But when it talk about the statistics, he needs 60 more runs left to complete 10,000 runs under this belt, and near about close to 2,000 runs in Border Gavaskar Trophy, 21 runs away from that. What are your thoughts? This man always loves Australia. Can he once again? You're saying maybe this might be his last once again for one final time at Australia. Can he win it for India?
See, I feel great players now, they need a challenge. I feel unless some kind of a aji baji happens from the Aussie side, you won't see the real Virat Kohli's character come out. If they're too nice and let the flow of the game happen, Virat may just not turn up, I feel. Unless something triggers him, I'm sure, I tell you, that's when the real best of Virat Kohli will come up. You've seen him last
Can we see players
week.
like, if you look into the squad of Australia, I don't know who can sledge, but can we see the likes of Mitchell Marsh or maybe Labuschagne or Travis Head do that?
Anyone, even the keeper Carey, I think is a pretty good character. I think the Englishmen know him pretty well for that run out that he
Especially
did of
Johnny
Johnny
Bairstow.
Bairstow. So I think these kind of things is what is required to get the best out of Virat. I feel, as you said, he is the king. That's where the Virat Kohli's test career I think took off. I think at the old ground at Perth, he got a good 70, 80, 90 odd, and then in Adelaide he got his first 100 also away. I think that's what made Virat Kohli the player that he went on to become. And of course the twin hundreds in Adelaide when he took over the captaincy for that record
First
chase,
time,
we
yeah.
almost pulled off and
Almost
many
lost by
more
30
hundreds
runs.
there
Yeah.
as well. So I think the conditions in Australia kind of suit his kind of batting, unlike in England where the ball kind of moves around and he's a bit jittery at the start. I think here you can kind of trust the bounce as well and play through the line. I think that's what suits his kind of batting template. It's again, if he just gets in, takes his own time a little bit rather than doing all this baseball things that they're up to. I think he needs to settle in, take his time, build a proper test match innings. I think the one guy we are missing out, I don't want to name him, but the Pujara effect, the solidity at the top of the order, I think we are missing that because the king alone can't win your battle, right? You need his commanders in chief,
Absolutely.
the soldiers, all their roles to do it. I think Pujara fitted that bill pretty well so that Virat Kohli could come in and do his bit as well. Pant has to step up here, Jaiswal as well, KL if he opens, all these guys have to contribute. Virat alone can't do it. Just like how maybe previously Sachin Paji alone couldn't do it. He needed a Dravid, a Lakshman, etc. to chip in as well. This has to be a team effort. I think one guy can't do it, but we do know one thing: if it is the last one, he would like to leave on a bang.
Absolutely, he would love to do that, and he loves challenges. He's going to play at one of his favorite grounds because he scored one of his best 100. He mentioned at the Waka. But Paji, there's another man who was feared by Aussies, and that's the man who loves babysitting Tim Paine's child, and now is back into the side. Rishabh Pant. He created havoc in the last time he made at this ground in different venues, but he's once again back. Huge boost for India, and that could be another player that look out for in the Australian series.
Massive boost. And I think, talking about Virat Kohli there. Virat Kohli isn't there anymore. He's a part-time cricketer now. He's a full-time father, full-time resident of England, so he's going to be struggling in Australia. I'm sorry to say that. And Pant is the danger. He's the game changer in the England team. If you ask the Australians which player they fear most, they will say Rishabh Pant, because you just don't know what you're going to get with him. And Rowan made an excellent point, having solid people up at the top of the innings to allow Kohli to play. We can see probably Kohli having to face the new ball coming in quite a few of these test matches. And that's when he struggles at the start of the innings, fishing outside the off stump, fifth or sixth stump. Australians know that. And you've got someone like Josh Hazlewood, who can put it on a sixpence. So I think Australia have the mechanics to bowl and deal with the Kohli now, but they don't have it for Rishabh Pant, because Rishabh Pant is the game changer. He can make the switch of the wicket. He can get, like, there could be 100 for 4. He can get them to 200, in no time. And I think that's what they really fear. And the thing with Rishabh Pant, unorthodoxy, he's good against quick bowling. He's very good against spin.
Very good, absolutely.
So, ideally in Australian conditions. And he's in form as well, because I think he played really well, even in glimpses, but he just didn't have the support. And I think that's where India will struggle, because you look at the batting lineup and you think, oh, Kohli's going to come in between the 15th to 16th over. And that's when Australia are really, really dangerous. If India can bat, get 100 for 1 on the board, then Kohli comes into the game. I really do believe that. But I think India will not, they will lose two wickets before, the 12th over, and then Kohli will be in. And that's when they can attack him. But for me, Rishabh Pant is that batsman in this team that I think, Australia fear most.
Okay, so you're saying Rishabh Pant is the most feared player, but we've spoken about the top order, Rohan. A little bit of debutants can be there in the corner when it comes to the middle order. No, Shardul Thakur has been picked. We thought about maybe Hardik Pandya might be the all-rounder. Nitish Kumar Reddy can be getting his first maiden cap for India. Similarly, Dhruv Jurel, a warrior we have seen, had a wonderful India A tour versus Australia, 68 and 80 in the 2 innings he played. Talk us through these two players. Can we, by any chance, see both of them playing in the playing 11?
If you ask me personally, I would like to see both of them, because they kind of give that stability to the 11. Absolutely. I feel. And Nitish Reddy has done pretty well in the Ranji season, pretty decent with the ball as well as improving. I think a couple of spells in the A Tour A Tour side games, I think he bowled pretty well and looked pretty nippy for those conditions. And he can be the support bowler for the 3 frontline seamers we'll have. They can be giving a bit of rest as well to our lead bowlers. So if Nitish Reddy can chip in with a few overs and pick up a few wickets as well, nothing like that. But his main task will be to keep that pressure on, not leak runs and let the pressure go off. Because pretty sure the Aussies, if he plays, will be targeting him because of inexperience. Someone like Steve Smith or Labuschagne will definitely picking him off, I feel, off the legs, etc. But coming to Jurel, I think the guy has shown a lot of tenacity and character, even under extreme pressure. I think we saw in that last home series against England, a tough chase in Ranchi. I think that showed the guy has a lot of mental fortitude, is what I feel. And in test match cricket, to succeed, you need to have a lot of guts there rather than just skill and etc. I think his temperament and character suits test match cricket. And I feel he's the kind of guy, when the chips are down, he raises his hand and say, you know what, I am there. Yeah. I'll be the one who can guide you through this passage.
I think that's the reason why we say warrior.
Exactly. I think that army background with his dad, I think that also that discipline has helped him in his game as well, and as a personality, I feel. And also it gives you that second keeping option in case of any contingency issues. So I think Jurel, for me, has to be in your starting 11 in the top 6. Kind of giving that solidity. I know it's missing at the top, but something in the middle, I think, will kind of help somewhere.
Okay, so you're expecting both to play. We'll come into the predicted playing 11 as the show progresses. Middle order, lower order, pacers are there and there. We'll move on to the host now, Sandy Paji. There is a change in the top of the order. The only change, I must say, because the players pick themselves in the side. No more David Warner. They've gone with Nathan McSweeney, who's going to set to make his debut. Expected to open up the order alongside Usman Khawaja. Talking about his numbers, 291 runs has been scored in the last 4 innings at Sheffield Shield, and also match-winning 88 not out versus India A in the second test, and they're chasing it down. Very impressive, I must say, Paji.
Yes, and this is what Australia are looking for. They are now looking into the next generation of players to come in, and Nathan McSweeney is at the top of that list now. And the good thing with McSweeney, he can also give them an option with the ball as well. So again, this is the only thing that you can say about Australia is how this new opening partnership will happen, because obviously Smith has said he doesn't want to open, which is fine, and they probably can't put Josh Inglis there or another player there. So I think McSweeney will make his debut. He'll be up the top of the order, and again, it's the threat of India. Who's the threat of the Indian bowling? As other than Jasprit Bumrah, you look at the other bowlers and you're thinking now, Siraj has been pretty awful. Prasidh Krishna, we don't know what's going to happen with him. And there's no Mohammad Shami, because Mohammad Shami
Yep.
in Australia is very, very good. So I think Australia won't be tested as much, but it'll be interesting to see what McSweeney does. But again, Usman Khawaja is brilliant. Is a very, very established opener.
Yep.
Steve Smith's there. Mitch Marsh is there. They haven't got the holes that India have in their batting. So I'm really fully expecting, good partnerships at the top. And Australia would just be really scared about Jasprit Bumrah at the start. And if they can outplay him, play him out, I think the rest of the Indian bowling is pretty average.
Okay, so you're saying Bumrah is the main threat, without a doubt about that. But what about the others? We'll see that. But moving on to the all-rounder section now, Rohan, for Australia. No Cameron Green. We said this off the show as well, behind the scenes. That is a massive blow for Australia. Good signs for India, because he's a terrific fielder at gully, and he's a very handy player with both the departments. But Mitch Marsh will take his spot. He's another very dangerous at the middle order, can score quick runs like Rishabh Pant. Do you think this middle order is settled with Mitch Marsh, Alex Carey, and Travis Head?
They're excellent. I think in form as well. Someone like Travis Head has a pretty good record against India. I think we don't want to remember him again. Carey has been a pretty tenacious guy. Loves to score well when the chips are down. But Marsh, I think more than his batting, I think his bowling will be more required for them, because again, just like last series, the four main bowlers, I think if they get tired, they don't have a backup seamer, which I think Cam Green was giving them.
Yeah.
So if India can kind of wear these guys out, I think someone like a Mitch Marsh coming in, they can kind of lace into him, I feel. So I think if India plan their innings properly and wear out, especially the Kookaburra after 30 overs, I think it gets easier to bat. If they can survive that period with as much less damage as possible, I think then you can cash in. So guys like a Marsh, Head, if they roll their arm over, I think it's easy pickings. Unless you do something stupid, I don't think these guys can get you out. Honestly, I feel. So I think these guys, though batting wise, are pretty much ahead. I think their bowling will be something that the Indians can exploit if we get into that situation.
Absolutely, that is going to be something to look into. But what about the players to watch out for? And here it is, starting with Team India. I've gone with my three choices. Without a doubt, Virat Kohli is number one choice. No brainer about that. Yashasvi Jaiswal, man in form, is my number two. And I'm going with Mohammad Siraj as my third choice. Rohan, starting with you, what are your thoughts? Any changes, any additions?
I'll add one more guy, Jasprit Bumrah. I think he's our linchpin. Of course, the captain as well for the first test. I think if Jussie starts his series pretty well and red hot form, I think that kind of energy runs through his side, and that will only get better, I feel. But I think Jussie's spells will be has to be optimally used, I feel. Sometimes as a captain, you may tend to overbowl yourself or
Yeah.
underbowl. I think that's where the senior players around him have to keep having a word in his ear, I feel. So I think Jasprit Bumrah for me is the guy to watch out for. Along with, if Jussie has a good day, I'm pretty sure all these guys will
India team
benefit.
will have a good day. I
Yes,
think
sir.
that this door will open for Australia then, because they will have to use the
Fingers
pavilion
crossed.
quite often. Absolutely. But moving into the opponents, which is the host, Australia, and the players to watch out for, Steve Smith, Travis Head, and Pat Cummins are the three players to watch out for, according to me. Sandy Paji, any additions or questions, please?
I would say Nathan Lyon, and simply because the Indian batsmen will have to face a lot of him. They've showed they lack dedication, to bat the full days. Nathan Lyon will win the game at some point in this match, and can India, survive him? And I think that's where India's dedication and their hard work and their grit will be tested against Nathan Lyon. Obviously, Pat Cummins for me is, captain, leader, bowler, also with the bat, handy runs with the bat as well. So, he's there. And I'm going to go for Usman Khawaja as well. I think that Usman Khawaja versus Jasprit Bumrah at the top, not knowing that there's a second, unknown on the other end, I think it's going to be very important. So getting Usman Khawaja out before he gets in, I think it's going to be very, 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 very good, because then again, India get into that middle order, test them at the start, put pressure on them. Can Australia take that? So for that, those are my three.
So you've gone with your three, absolutely perfect. But we will move on to the battles now. The top three battles to look out for, and here are my three choices. First one, battle number one: Rishabh Pant versus Nathan Lyon is battle number one. Virat Kohli versus Mitchell Starc, and Jasprit Bumrah versus Steve Smith. Starting with you, Rohan. Any other battle, or if not, which one are the three? Which one are you watching for?
I think everything is a mouth-watering prospect here, Pritham. I think we can add someone like a Travis Head here as well to just see.
Somewhere
Or a
I
Mohammad
was
Siraj.
looking to. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and even someone like an Akash Deep in case he plays, because he's pretty good to the lefties. We have seen
The
him. I
deep
think if
bowler,
he
yeah.
can get into his zone as well, I think that will be something, because he's kind of an unknown commodity to the Australians. If Akash can get his zones in, I think that will be benefiting as well. But Virat versus Stark and all the Australian seamers, if that goes our way, I think that's half the battle won.
Watch out for the underrated bowler, Josh Hazelwood, because he always comes all guns blazing when things are very quiet. So that's another player to watch out for, I must say. I just wanted to add. But moving into the predicted playing 11, this is where things will get up pretty much intense when we can talk about the visitors. But the host, I think it's a very, very settled side. Looking into the predicted playing 11, Nathan McSweeney, Usman Khawaja are the openers, Manus Labuschagne, Steve Smith, Travis Said, Mitchell Mars, the middle order, Alex Carey, your wicket keeper, and then you come to three paces and one spinner. Pat Cummins, Mitchell Stark, Josh Hazelwood with a Nathan Lyon. No changes, Paji. Nathan McSweeney making a debut.
Yeah, I think that's the only option that they could possibly do. They could play Travis Head up front, just for that X factor and bring Josh English in. But I think they don't want to do that. I think they'll definitely want to put McSweeney in there. And again, the main thing for McSweeney and Khawaja is just to get Bumrah out the way. And once Bumrah's out the way, then they can make hay. So I think that's where we're doing. So I think Australia are pretty settled. I can't see Boland coming in, for instance, unless there's an injury. But I like Boland as a bowler.
Absolutely. If that offers, then you need to play four pacers, but I don't think so that they're going to go for that. But moving into India's playing 11 now, and this is where things will get very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. For me, India's playing 11 is Yashasvi Jaiswal and KL Rahul, the openers. Devdutt Padikkal at number 3, Virat Kohli at 4, Rishabh Pant at 5, Dhruv Jurel at 6, Nitish Kumar Reddy at 7, Ravichandran Ashwin as my only spinner, Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Siraj, and Akashdeep are the three pacers. Rohan, over to you.
I'll just change one thing. I know it's a hard thing, but I'll get someone like Inform Washington Sundar in for Ash because I think Inform and I think Perth being a kind of a pitch where you need a bit more overspin rather than side spin. I think Washi with his height can get that little extra bounce, and not to mention his batting abilities in the last few months. I think he's improved a lot. So and a lefty in there as well. I think that will give it more depth to the batting. Because Nitish Reddy, I know, is still inexperienced. So you need someone who is a bit more informed to give him that little extra cushion so that India gets that little lower order runs as well. Someone like Harshit Rana can be in your frame as
Very
well.
much,
Not sure.
absolutely.
Because I think what they are looking at him is kind of a short ball enforcer. Not sure if at Perth if he gets carried away or not, but you never know how the think tank will come up. But I think these 12-13 guys will be pretty much the ones who will be in part of the 11. That's it.
Okay, so you want Washington Sundar. That's a very good pick because he was in form in the previous test series as well. Predictions time, ladies and gentlemen. Now, 22nd November, India versus Australia first test at the Optus Stadium, Perth. Starting with you, Paji. 1-0 to Australia, 1-0 to India, or is it a draw?
I'm going to go for an Australian victory. I just think they're too strong. The machine is oiled. Not many changes. They're all been playing, state cricket as well, so they're in tune. India have just got their, coaches wise, a lot of pressure on there. No captain, standing captain. I just think the odds are against India, and I'm going to probably think Australia are strong favourites, and they'll probably end up winning the Test match, probably on day 3 and at the end of day 3.
Okay, so early prediction at the end of day 3, they might just win it because your focus now moves into Rohan now. Rohan, he said 1-0 to Australia, being very frank, I must say. What's your thought?
Yeah, I think Australians do start favourites, and I agree one thing. Either by the end of third day or the start of fourth day, the match will be finished because all the attention will be moving to the auction for sure. So I think that's will be the main highlight during the test match. Who's gonna go where? I think that will be a few words here and there will be in the stump mic for sure against our players there. But honestly, I feel whatever has happened in the last 4, 5, 6 months at least, whoever has been the favorites have kind of lost. So you never know how Test cricket has played in these kind of times. So as an Indian fan, maybe you feel let the Australians be the favorites here, and we can come back and sneak through a win. But for that, honestly, rather than India stepping up, I think Australians also have to take us a bit lightly and do a few mistakes for that to happen. So unless all these things factors go our way, it'll be tough for us. Honestly, Australians do look favorite for me as well. But you never know. Hope is a thing that
51-49
when it will turn around as well.
So you're going 51-49 to Australia?
Yeah, man. Maybe more 60-40.
60-40 to Australia is what he says. Fair enough. Thank you so much, both of you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's ready. It's time for the first test, and it's time to get underway with the Border Gavaskar Trophy. Don't forget to subscribe to the Fifth Umpire. Press the bell icon as well. Thank you so much. Sit back and enjoy the first test. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.